So every day, on the weekdays, of course, when I go into work, I go a certain way. There's a roundabout that I have to go past. And today, something strange happened. As I got to the roundabout in my car, there was a red van that was coming by. So on the right. So as you do in the UK, when you get to a roundabout, you give way to, as long as there's no other cars, you gave way to the right. And this van, the back van drives round, and then I'm following it. And then something really weird happened. The driver opened his driver's door while driving, and then quickly shut it.
What?
Yeah, you heard me. He opened his driver's door while driving and shut it.
Did he actually just do anything when he opened the door, or did he just open it?
He just opened it.
What's the story of this?
He just opened it, and I was just like, what have I just witnessed?
I would simply think that his door wasn't closed properly
Oh,
to
yeah.
begin with, so he's just short in it.
Yeah,
But you said a red van, and I can only think, is it Postman Pat?
that's what I thought, but it wasn't. It was just a red van.
Yeah.
I thought so, and then it was like, what are the postmen doing? And then it turned, and it was like, oh, it's just a red van. But I was thinking, funny enough, at that time, I was thinking, how am I going to start the podcast tonight? Like, what am I going to do? And then that happened, and I was like, well, here you go. Here's the intro. Welcome to Victory Achieved podcast. Leicester-based, Leicestershire, I don't know anymore.
I'll say, don't forget little Cambridgeshire over here.
Oh, then there you go. A Midlands-based video game.
I'm not even Midlands, I'm East Anglia.
Well, this has just turned out terrible, ain't it?
Well, that's a victory not achieved.
Shall we just say European-based?
European-based.
Well, actually, no, we're not even in Europe anymore.
We're Brexit-based.
Brexit-based.
Oh, no.
British, UK.
British.
Yeah.
I'm Dan, and I'm with Brandon and Chris.
Howdy.
Yellow.
That's a colour.
Oh. So, what if we start with something Marvel?
Oh, what if you asked that question? Well, I'm afraid you just did, so that's quite a short episode, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I know you haven't watched it, Brandon, because you're not up to date with MCU in general.
No, still trying to catch up.
Yeah. Are you much further?
Not since we last spoke, no.
Okay. I guess. But with what did you think, Chris?
Well, it's at the time of recording, it's only had the first episode out yet. And honestly, I thought it was fine. I was caught off guard for a second because it seemed to me right at the beginning of the episode, and I didn't notice again since, like the lip syncing seemed to be about, and I was wondering, was it dubbed? But then I never noticed it again. It might just be the art style, but yeah. Other than that, I thought it was quite enjoyable. It is what it is. It's just what if scenario, so you don't have to think too hard about it. It's just a what if scenario. I can't think of a better phrase.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's nothing to get too upset about or overly excited about. It is what it is. But I did enjoy it. Just hypothetical.
I think I've got the same feeling over the first episode. I think maybe the later episodes I'm going to be more excited over than the initial one. I think the first one felt very safe because it was only like, this is the one change, and then obviously what came was basically kind of a retelling, but with this instead of this, and it wasn't that much different. It was.
Do you feel about 30-40% of it was just exactly the same, and then
yeah.
we shredded other bits.
Like, I was kind of a little bit disappointed in that, but then I did enjoy it. I didn't leave going, that was boring. No, I did enjoy it, and I thought I quite liked the animation.
Well, I took a quick look ahead. I know the synopsis for a couple of them. From what I understand, one of them is Guardians of the Galaxy, where Yondu instead abducts T'Challa, the Black Panther.
Oh, that must be
Star-Lord.
that must be next week, because that's
Might be next week.
yeah, that must be next. Well, by the time this comes out, it'll be, I don't know, like 4 weeks back, 3-4 weeks back. But yeah, that right now that'll be this week. That'll be this week's episode, I think.
Yeah, but the one I'm looking forward to the most, if it happens, but I've seen graphic art for it, so it must be true. I want to see the Marvel Zombies.
Yeah, man.
I haven't read the comics, but I know there's one where Ash from Ash vs Evil Dead fights the Marvel Zombies, and I want that so much.
As soon as you mentioned that, I was like, you're just like, oh, please.
Please, for the love of God, put Bruce Campbell in it.
I'm looking forward
that's
to
what we
it.
want. We want that in the cinematic universe. Marvel Phase 4, it's just Ash versus everyone. Undead Thanos, fucking shotgun at the nose. Done. Yes, please.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes forward. But
Can I just address the elephant in the room?
yeah,
What the hell are you guys on about?
what do you mean? What
You started
bit?
talking about Marvel, but you didn't actually title what it is about Marvel you're talking about.
It's called Marvel What If.
Oh, is that literally what it's called?
Yeah, it's called
Yeah.
Marvel What If.
That's why it's hard to think of another word for saying what if, because it literally is a what if.
Hypothetical Marvel.
Yeah, there's
Yes.
a whole lot of graphic novels and comics called Marvel What If, and as Chris mentioned, you have the zombies one, and there's just a whole lot of different things.
Yeah, so it's like the base stories, but if they like change one thing about it. So,
So-
like in the first episode, it's like Agent Carter becomes Captain British, or rather
It
Captain
is called
America.
Captain British. Is it Captain British? Captain Britain, is it? I can't remember his name.
One of those.
It is basically, yeah. And then it's just how that goes forward. There's been rumours that What If is going to affect Phase 4. It's not just, these are what if scenarios. It's been confirmed that they are going to tie in with a future film.
Oh, okay.
So I think it is going to be the next Doctor Strange.
Yeah, well, Loki was leaning into Doctor Strange as well. So
Yeah.
there's a lot weighing on this next Doctor Strange film, isn't there? It's
Yeah.
kind of like the linchpin of the next thing, so it better be good.
It's like, 3 TV shows and one all on it?
Yeah. So I hope they don't drop the ball.
I don't know.
We'll
We'll
see.
see.
We'll see. What if it's great? But what if it's bad?
No. But you...
They can get away with either one, can't they? They just said, "Oh, that film was bad, but it was meant to be bad. It was a what if one. Let's remake it again, but make it better."
But you watched something Disney, didn't you, Brandon?
Yeah, I watched Jungle Cruise in cinema. That was surprisingly darker than what I thought it was going to be. Because when I first heard, it's going to be a Disney film, I thought, it's going to be, your traditional comical Disney thing. But in terms of how dark I can sort of think it, I'm guessing you've all seen Hook. The early 2000s film.
Yeah.
I think it's early 2000s, or is it 90s?
Oh, it's 90s.
I knew it was around that
Seems
time.
more
But yeah,
90s.
that sort of action with a little bit of dark-esque to it, like
I think
actual
so,
death
yeah.
happening and things like that. So there's quite a bit of that in it. I think the closest thing I could say it is, I mean, it's going to seem quite cynical me saying this, but I think it's really similar to the new remakes of the Jumanji films in how it feels, but obviously it's got that Disney vibe to it of the dad jokes in it were fantastic. The action in it was pretty decent. Oh yeah, we always come back to this. The soundtrack of Jungle Cruise, the opening song is Nothing Else Matters, Metallica. Holy crap, was I not expecting that.
Instant
As
win
soon
for
as
you.
as soon as I heard that playing, I just turned around. I was like, "Does anyone notice what song this is?" But yeah, I actually enjoyed it.
Do you know that it's based on the Disney ride?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Disney rides.
Well,
Just like Pirates of the Caribbean is as well.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. But it's at the I don't know how many of the Magic Kingdom or the main Disney parks across the world it's at, but the Jungle Cruise is a ride at the Disney parks.
Oh, okay.
And and I don't know if you've seen. There's been like for promotion that both Emily Blunt and Dwayne Johnson got on it. Oh, and Jack Whitehall, all three of them were on the ride and had a whole load of people on it, and they were just talking. That's been like advertised on like social media at the moment.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I literally know nothing about it.
But yeah, it's based on the ride.
Well, the last time I went to Disneyland, and it Euro Disney, was back in 1997. I imagine it may have changed slightly since I went last.
Yeah, was that? I think that was there. I can't remember. I went when I was 7. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 11. What was the latest one then? I think the Lion King may have been around that time. That was like the newest one.
I don't know. Like when I went, I don't know what they had. Like was it? I always thought it was Indiana Jones, the roller coaster in like the Adventureland. I couldn't go on that. And obviously you had Space Mountain. Obviously you had, was it the Thunder Mountain as well?
This is all the American Disneyland, the Florida one.
No,
I only went to the Euro.
No,
I only went to the Euro one. I don't remember that.
No, I'm talking about Euro one. I've been to both, but I'm talking about Euro one.
All I really remember is a Star Wars ride where you just like sit in the chairs and move around. That's literally about all I remember.
I hardly remember that one because I've been to the Florida one twice, so I remember that one more.
Nice one.
So.
It's like you went to the better one. It's like imagine the child disappointed in the child's face. We're going to Disneyland, yay! We're going to Euro Disney. Oh, I want to go to the proper one. That's like the B movie version.
I don't think Euro Disney's that bad. I think my brother went the other year. I think he went before COVID. I think he really enjoyed it, but I think he did. But he also was like, you can tell it's for kids.
I think any sort of Disney World you can. I think any sort of Disney World you can guess it's for kids.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, there's Epcot in Florida. That is a little bit less for kids. Like, it's a lot more educational, that park. It's a bit of a weird one. It's really cool. It's like got a massive big dome thing in the center. And you can go up it and it's like all about creation and stuff. And it's really cool. And then you've got like, because there's like 2 lands. You've got like a educational space sci-fi land. That's like what you go into. And then the other land is like places around the world. So you got like UK, Japan, China, France, Italy. I think Mexico is one of them.
Okay.
So obviously, when I went into the Japan one, they had all the anime stuff, and I was like, "Oh, I'm very tempted." But Epcot's an interesting Disney park.
I think the last time I went to any sort of Disney park, I think it must have been Alton Towers when I was, I think I was 14.
You've not been to a theme park since then?
No.
I went to Alton Towers last year.
Yeah, I barely go out.
Yeah, I went for our mate Rich. Went for his birthday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like no one else went except me. I was like, well, I've got a day off.
So it's just you and Rich?
No, it was Rich, his girlfriend, and myself. So it's the 3 of us.
Ah.
And yeah, it was good fun. And then it like got to the end, and he was like, here's your late birthday present, Dan. And I was like, but it's your birthday and you're giving me my late birthday presents. This is really weird.
A bit backwards.
Yeah, but I've got him a really nice present this year. I think by the time this is out, it'll have been his birthday anyway. But I got him a really nice present. So I'm looking.
What'd you get?
So in that case, then, happy birthday, Rich.
Yeah, happy birthday, Rich.
I think he's only heard. I don't know how many episodes he's listened to. I know he's listened to them because he messaged me like, "Oh, I've listened to your podcast." And I was like, "Oh." I bought
now you'll know if he's listened to this one.
yeah. now I know. I bought him this year a Zelda poster and a Zelda T-shirt.
Nice.
Is he actually that big into Zelda?
Oh
Or
yeah,
Legend of Zelda?
yeah,
So, I was saying, because he never really talks about it.
yeah. He's big into Zelda. I saw him yesterday, and he was showing me a whole load of his stuff. Like, look, he was like, I bought these Pokemon cards. I was like, oh, yeah. Oh, I've got a lot further on Skyward Sword now. I don't know how far I am. I don't know how far I am to the end, if I am, but I've just beaten the 5th dungeon.
Oh, you still got a little ways to go.
Yeah, I think I do. So I've just done the sand ship. I really like the sand ship, but I thought the boss was the initial bit where you're running out the ship and it's like you got the tentacles because it's like a sea monster. I thought it was really cool, but then when you're actually fighting it, I thought it wasn't as good as
it looks dumb, does it? It's just the design. If the actual fight itself is fine. It's a typical Zelda boss. Oh look, a big glowing eye. I wonder what I hit.
I don't know. I just thought I was talking to one of my mates as well about it because he said the same thing. The boss kind of lets that dungeon down. I just think that compared to some of the other bow bosses in Zelda, I just didn't think it was as good as some of them.
No, definitely not. I do like the way you go into the boss room and you don't actually fight it in the boss room. You just sort of go in and then it's like, nope, turn back around.
Yeah,
get out. We're all gonna
I thought that was so cool. That was like that's the problem. I thought that was the best bit of the boss when you're just trying to get out of the ship, and I think that's kind of the sad thing. Well, it was for me. But
yes, I have seen that boss on a couple of lists saying it's like most disappointing bosses.
Yeah, I think that's the other problem. If you're comparing other Zelda bow bosses, you have Phantom Ganon probably at the top.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Even the Wind Waker one's really good, but that's bows and bombs.
I couldn't tell you which one of my favourite bosses. Of all the Zelda games, no idea.
I'm just talking about the ones where you get the bow and then you.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I can't. What's? Oh yeah, the one in Twilight Princess is in the fire dungeon. That one's a good boss.
Oh, what's the one? Also in Twilight Princess, he's up there. The giant dragon skull floaty head thing, whose name I can't remember.
Oh, that's in the 4th
Stella
dungeon.
Foster.
That's when you get the Beyblade.
Yes.
It is basically
a Beyblade.
It's got the spinner, and you just ride on it, and it looks like a Beyblade.
Well, as we used to call them back in my day, a spinning top.
Yeah.
Before these newfangled Beyblades came out. I suppose it would be, if you release it now, it'd just be a fidget spinner.
Oh my gosh.
Please don't say that.
Someone bought me a fidget spinner. I still got it.
Did you give it back to them?
No, I still got it. It's because it was Batman. I was like, oh, thanks. If
it's in the shape of a batarang, that might work.
It kind of is, to be fair.
Is it just a shot?
It kind of is as well.
Fair enough.
It's a weapon.
I don't know why I still have it. The person who gave me it, I don't like. So I don't know why I have it.
Well, you're keeping it to use against them one day.
I'm never going to see him again, so
just in case.
I've not seen him in years. They're definitely gone from my life.
Before we put this out, kids, don't carry sharp weapons around with you.
Yeah,
Unless
don't
they're
run with-
really, really, really cool.
What are you saying, Brandon?
I'll say, yeah, don't run with sharps. Walk.
Yeah.
Not everyone knows that.
Terrible life advice.
Yeah, I don't know when I'll finish Skyward. I'll just keep you updated. Like, oh, finished it now. Oh.
This is podcast episode 70. I've still not done it.
I've beat Dungeon 6.
I finally got to Demise.
Actually, that's just given me just a random question. What's the longest game in terms of like hours until completion you guys have played?
Persona
Bloody
3.
hell.
And I've not even finished it because I put in 200 hours and I'm only halfway through the game. And the base game, and I also have the additional game because I've got the Director's Cut edition. Yep.
I would probably say, if we're not counting like replays, something like Dungeon Keeper.
Really?
But that's although it's like mission based, there's like tons of like fan patches with like extra levels, and levels can take like 6-7 hours to finish if you're playing thoroughly. So
I don't know.
on the whole, probably.
I could say 3 houses, but I could also say not because I have done 3 playthroughs. But then, if I'm saying to completion of all 4 playthroughs, yeah, okay, maybe 3 houses. But well, I've not even started my 4th playthrough yet. I'm still keeping that off for now until I get invested in it again. But I don't know.
What about you, Brendan?
Mine's still Dark Cloud 2 or Dark Chronicles.
Oh, here we go.
Jesus Christ. I'm so useless at golf. Honestly, this mini game is actually killing me off. It's, I don't want to like crap on the game, but when you got these cynical mini games which actually take away from, the actual game itself.
Yeah.
Like it kind of the fishing is not too bad. It's grindy, but it's not bad.
We literally spoke about this last week.
Yeah.
We literally did. Like,
yeah, and Skyward Sword. This is just a repeat episode for everyone.
No.
What last
I was only just updating. I was only just being like, oh, I've got further. But
yeah, for me, it's that.
I also did more for Brandon. I did actually finish Oddtaxi last night. Actually,
how'd you get on with it? I've not even started it yet.
Okay, so Oddtaxi, because I've been in a bit of a weird headspace. I've not watched any for ages, and I was like, I need to finish it. So I binge watched the last few episodes, and so there's like a big mystery, and it all gets revealed in the final episode. And there's like one for one thing, and then there's another thing for another thing that happens. And one of the biggest plot twists, no one would have ever guessed it. I didn't even guess it. It just occurs, and I'm like, what? It does actually make sense, but I was like, no one watching this anime would have ever guessed this plot twist. No one. Like, it kind of comes out of nowhere, but it also doesn't, because when you actually think about it, you're like, okay, this makes sense because right at the end they do explain it in some way, but it's literally it's like the last minute it gets revealed, and you're like, wait, what? So you literally finish the anime, and in the last minute it's like, oh, by the way, this is how the whole story began because of this, and you're like, wait, what?
Did the writers of What If just step in for like the last 10 seconds?
Probably. It's fantastic. It might be my anime of the year, and I've not watched that many 2021 anime this year, but from what I have watched, it's like up there with To Your Eternity.
I'll say I can't remember some of the ones from the beginning of this year.
I didn't watch any because
I can't remember any of the winter 2021.
I've watched nothing unless you count Castlevania.
What I will say to you, Chris, is when Vinland Saga gets dubbed, you need to watch that.
Yeah, I reckon you'll enjoy Vinland Saga.
You'll love Vinland Saga.
I'll give it a whirl then.
It's about would say Vikings, but
Yeah, it is Vikings. It's not. That is what it is. It's basically anime Vikings.
Yeah.
Pretty much. It's got an absolutely fantastic soundtrack and a fantastic story. They're currently dubbing it. As Brandon knows, I was like, please dub Vinland Saga, please, and they're doing it. So it's not just you. There's a couple of my mates that I really want them to watch it as well. It's just one of those anime that is just fantastic. The studio that animated it I know they did Attack on Titan season 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think you'll really like it, Chris.
I was quite surprised how well it turned out, because I'm not really usually one to watch historical based series, but I thought, okay, I'll give it a chance because I've seen series like Arslan and I've seen I think it's called Drifters. So I thought, okay, I'll give it a go, and I actually enjoyed it. Like, again, I really like the action in it. Like, I'm sorry, but Torkel and like the relationship between Torkel and Thorfinn was hilarious.
Yeah. What's it? Askeladd.
Askeladd was brilliant.
Askeladd is the best character by a mile.
He was so brilliant.
And he's Welsh. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely badass Welsh character. He's fantastic.
I was say, it's not very often in anime they really show you Welsh. I mean, at a push, they'll do American and British. Like, British, you've got like Seven Deadly Sins. American, you've got Everywhere. Or Black Butler as well for British. But you don't really get Welsh, so I was quite surprised.
Yeah, no, it's a fantastic anime. Like, I'd recommend it to anyone. And I'm actually gonna rewatch it when the dub's out, because I really wanna rewatch it, and well, it'll be easier to watch in dub. And it'll be nice to experience it again. So I'm definitely gonna watch it again.
There is one thing I'd like to quickly raise, since we're on the subject of anime. By the way, did you see that apparently in the future, well, hopefully not so long from now, probably that PlayStation Plus members will potentially get Crunchyroll as part of their package as well.
Yeah,
I'll be so happy if they do that.
So, how apparently this is going to work is, if you already have Crunchyroll, like I do, it's not going to change. Like, so I don't have to pay more. You might have to pay more for it for PS Plus. I don't know, but if you already have Crunchyroll, you won't need to.
Well,
is it just a way to incentivize people to get Crunchyroll?
Probably. It's because Sony has bought Crunchyroll recently.
Well, that doesn't sound too good a deal. I mean, I already have PlayStation Plus. I don't want to pay anything more for a service I'm not going to use. Well, potentially not use. I mean, surely to keep it so you can just have PlayStation Plus.
I was going to say, what does this mean for the likes of Funimation then?
I don't know. I'm not really sure. Maybe that we might be able to have everything on Funimation as well, because Sony have Funimation too, or maybe not. I don't know.
For me, the best workaround for this would be, if you already had Crunchyroll, you're already paying for it, then you could get PlayStation Plus at a discount and just knock off what you already pay for Crunchyroll.
Maybe. I don't know. I think it's not the best idea to force a service onto people who don't want it. But I'm not an executive. I don't know what's right.
See, from my point of view, like Gamepass is absolutely thrashing PlayStation Plus and PS Now. So I thought this would be an incentive. So if PlayStation go, okay, you get PlayStation Plus, have Crunchyroll as well for like no extra charge. That would be a massive plus. Surely.
That would be better if they wanted to compete with Xbox. That would be better, but I don't know. I've been a bit with how things have been with Sony recently. I could see them saying, "No, you've got to pay more. I don't know.
Yeah, because I don't want to pay more. I want mine giving Crunchyroll a go, but I don't want to pay extra for a service I'm already using. You know what I mean? It's £50, I think. Yeah, I think I'm paying.
Yeah.
I don't want to pay any more. No. Yeah.
Whatever. I can't remember.
But I must say though, I've been very disappointed with PlayStation Plus this year. I think I've downloaded one game all year, so I'm at a massive loss.
It's not been really good recently.
Everything that come out it's just been mediocre or just flat out shit. The game that came out last week was is it WWE Battlegrounds?
Oh my god!
Like one of the
there's been so many sports
games.
ones coming
One
out.
of the worst games that came out last year.
Oh my gosh! I've seen clips of that game and it looks dire. If no one knows what it looks like, it kind of obviously it is WWE, but it looks like is it like not Mega
like
Bloks?
Bobblehead.
Yeah, like bobblehead character designs. It looks terrible.
And apparently it is terrible. It's broken beyond belief.
Yeah, like it doesn't just look it. It apparently plays it as well. Not I'm gonna spend money on it.
Yeah, as I say, like that's one of the worst games that came out last year. So when you're trying to compete with Gamepass, who's given away Hades, that's come out.
Yeah.
They got Back for Blood as well. I don't know how good that's going to be, but that's going to be free on Game Pass. So yeah, this is why they need to throw in something like Crunchyroll for free. It's like they need to up the game massively.
I think they definitely do.
Yeah, I'm mixed about whether I'm going to get a PS5 or an Xbox this generation, and I've not thought about getting an Xbox in a long time.
Yes. I was on the same page. I mean, I've got a PS5 just because they just happen to have one. So I was like, fuck me, don't care, just give it to me now. Now you've got one. But I was, before that, looking at like Xbox Series X. But you couldn't get one for love nor money. I'm pretty sure that's still the case. But if you're going to use Game Pass, and it's a real steal. It's
from
such a good service.
Even literally listening to a podcast today, they were talking about Game Pass on that video game podcast, and it was even that they were literally saying exactly what we're saying, that Sony needs to do something, otherwise Microsoft, Xbox, they've won this generation easily.
Yeah, so far.
Like
I don't know about the first party. Well, I think it's still a bit too early to say.
Yeah, I guess first party. But
PlayStation still has stuff like Ratchet and Clank. It's got your Demon's Souls. It's gonna pull some great games out of it.
I'm not saying it's not going to, but I do personally prefer the PlayStation exclusives over the Xbox ones. But
yeah, I'm just thinking back to like older console launches. Like comparatively, this generation hasn't had like a sort of killer app as such. Like Mario 64 launch title on N64 is like, fucking hell, that's a hell of a way to kick off a generation. We just don't seem to have anything like that.
I'll say the only one I saw for the PS5 was Demon's Souls. I'm not kidding.
And that's a remake.
Yeah. It's really weird. I do want a PS5, but I think it is more just for Demon's Souls.
Yeah, and I still haven't bought that yet.
Yeah.
The thing I've used the most on my PS5 is Netflix.
You just got a glorified Netflix box.
Yeah, which is basically what my PS4 and Xbox do as well.
I mean, well, you played a lot of Ratchet and Clank. You've been replaying it again this week, because I did watch a bit of your stream. I didn't comment, but I did watch a bit.
Yeah, well, mainly because it's about the only thing on the PS5 I have got to stream. I thought, well, I've got a new console, I've got to stream something on it. And yeah, it's a good game, but it's not like a console seller or anything like that.
No.
It's fine. It's not groundbreaking. It's fun enough, but it is what it is.
Hold on, I'm just opening up the 2021 PS Plus games so far this year.
I know I haven't downloaded them this month again.
Which ones
Neither.
were for this month?
I had no
I
idea.
can't even remember. I took one look and went, just turned it off again.
So January was Man Eater, Greedfall, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Mm.
You know, there's a couple of
Oh.
nice ones there.
Well, the thing with Shadow of the Tomb Raider is I bought it the week before. I bought it the week before it got announced that it was coming to PS Plus, and I was like, oh
Yeah,
my
February was Concrete Genie, which was apparently good. And Control.
God. When was FF7 remake?
And that was March.
Okay, that was interesting.
And that also came with Remnant of the Ashes.
I still need to start remake.
Again,
And then-
so far
yeah.
these titles, a lot of them are already on Game Pass as well.
I know,
Yeah,
that's
and
the
then-
thing.
This is where it starts to go downhill. So April was Zombie Army, Days Gone.
Oh no,
and
not Days
Oddworld.
Gone.
So they start to go zombie themed there. Then we're in May. We get Stranded Deep, Battlefield 5, and Wreckfest. Stranded Deep, I've downloaded it. I want to give it a go.
Oh, it was,
I did download it and I stopped playing within like 10 minutes because I had like a game breaking bug.
was it?
I had to like drop an item on the floor to progress, and it just
Oh.
sort of clipped through the floor, and that was that. It's like,
You had Black Ops 4. Was it last month?
Yeah, I got Black Ops 4.
I was a bit
There was
like,
also-
what's the point of Black Ops 4? I'll be honest. You got Warzone. What the big thing about Black Ops 4 was it was the first COD with Battle Royale, but you have Warzone that's free. Like, there's literally no point of Black Ops 4 unless you want to play zombies.
That's literally
I
the
did-
reason I downloaded it.
Yeah, that's true.
I did download it, realised there wasn't like just a normal single player campaign, and promptly uninstalled it.
I
And
missed it. I
it's-
didn't care.
And it's Activision Blizzard, so fucking.
Uh,
I can't even be asked to play a free game of that. Look it up. Bastards.
But what sort of game titles would you like to see Sony release as part of PS Plus? Like, what would you say would really, pull the player base together?
I guess something
Then-
very current or more new. Like, not just something...
Newer and better, basically.
Yeah, like...
Not last year's crap worst games of the years.
That's the thing. If they needed to compete with Game Pass, they need something, even if it was like, maybe 6 months, like minimum 6 months ago. I would say from 6 months to current, put it on PS Plus, and then as like the main thing, and then if you want something a bit more niche or older, you could put that as the secondary or whatever the other games. But as your main flagship game, I think it needs to be the oldest 6 months.
Well, what used to be the case, or what it seemed to be, is they release 2 games a month, and
Yeah.
normally I'd say like the best balance would be like 1 AAA game and then 1 indie game as well.
Yeah.
For now, best game I think they could give away would be Demon's Souls,
Yeah.
and I'm only not just saying that because I haven't bought it yet and I want it. Give it to me now.
I want you to play it and then just talk about it on here and be like, oh, we're now jealous.
I'll be doing that because when I get back from camping, that's when I'm actually getting my PS5.
Cool.
So as soon as I get back, as soon as I come back, I can play it. So I'll go out and actually buy Demon's Souls and do it.
Is it actually yours or is it your girlfriend?
It's actually mine.
Okay. I don't know. You said something and I was like, is it yours or no, that's cool.
Yeah. So she's bought herself one and me,
Yeah. Like,
which is insane. Like as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh god, what do I do?
Mario.
Yeah. That's what I said. I was like, shit, do I propose now?
If someone's buying you a PS5, you marry that person. That's that.
No, that's really cool. Like, I'll definitely be interested to hear how you fare with Demon's Souls, well, the remake.
Well, I mean, I enjoyed playing it on the PS3. The only thing I didn't like about playing it on the PS3 is because the consoles, or especially the controller I was using, was getting a bit outdated and worse for wear. So I think it's going to be nice to play it on the revamped graphics and everything.
Oh yeah, my PS3 controller's got that problem. You know, like the rubber textures, like they start getting sticky.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Yep.
My PS3 controller's got that.
Yep.
I keep
same.
wiping it down, and it obviously doesn't fix it. Well,
Yeah.
I just keep thinking, is my controller just really dirty, or is it just falling apart? In my case, it's both. It's both. Definitely. Okay.
Brandon, you have been playing.
Me?
Yeah, you have been playing one of my favorite games of all time.
Well, yeah. So as soon as we said it in the last episode, I was like, you know what? I've had Undertale on my Steam shelf for a few years now, and I was like, it's about time I goddamn play it.
Yes, boy.
So I went out and I started to play Undertale, and I played it up to the point now where I've left the snow village. I've gone through the waterfall place. So yeah, so I'm up to there at the moment, and since playing it, I've been, first of all, soundtrack. Oh my god, I fell in love.
Yep, of course.
And when I was playing, I was trying to immerse myself into it. So when you play games like this where there's no actual voice actors, I feel like you have to immerse yourself in some way. And for me, it's just playing the role of that character and giving them the voice.
Yeah.
And I do love it. Like I can feel immersed. And obviously, when you're doing that first point where you have to fight Toriel to actually leave the underground, like you start to feel emotionally invested into it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's been a good ride so far. I'm not going to get much time to play more of it this week because I've got a setup for going camping. But when I get back from camping, then I need to give it a finish. And then once I've done the peaceful playthrough, I'm then going to play the genocide route.
I'm not prepared to do it just yet. I'm
not prepared to do genocide because I know I'm gonna suck.
I think you'll be all right until you get to Undyne. When you get to Undyne, I think that's when it truly begins.
That's when I stopped doing my genocide run.
Yeah.
Well, I did like the peaceful one first, and then started doing the genocide one. Although a massive problem I had is I was playing it on PC and I didn't have a controller. So trying to do the fast-paced battles with a keyboard is not the best input. I got up to there and it's near damn impossible. It's like, I need a controller for this. It ain't gonna happen. So I just sort of put it down.
Could you not map a controller?
I can now, but I mean back then.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. I just realised. Yeah. No, I'm really excited to hear how you fare with it, Brandon.
Yeah.
What's been like your favourite moment so far?
Obviously, I'm still quite early on into it. I think. So what have I done so far?
Have you been on the date with
I've been on the date. I've been on the date with Papyrus.
Yes.
Wait, is it the date?
Yeah, it's the date.
When he takes you to his house.
Yeah, that's the date.
Yeah, that was quite comical because he went all Sundare on me. That was quite. That was quite funny.
You have the almighty Sans. I love Sans.
But I think my personal favourite so far is maybe that fight with Toriel.
It is an emotionally charged fight.
Yeah, I think that's probably been my favourite so far. And second to that is maybe the running away from Undyne with the spears so far. Or maybe even the waterfall section.
Mm.
The listening of the raindrops on the stone statue and everything. That was quite cool.
Yeah, it's very good how this soundtrack is sort of interwoven with the environment.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
It's just a fantastic game. I need to actually finish Deltarune at some point. Well, it's free on the Switch. I think it's free on PC as well. But it's not on Steam for some reason. Which I don't get.
That's odd.
Or maybe it is, I don't know.
I assume everything's on Steam.
I don't know, maybe it's not. I'm not sure. I'll have to check, but
I don't really use Steam anywhere near as used to.
No.
Used to lose it sons, but I just don't seem to bother me.
No. You know what both you and I watched, Chris?
Mm.
Resident Evil on Netflix.
I did. I did mention this briefly on the last one.
Oh, did you? I didn't hear. I must have not realised.
Yeah, I did talk about it for a little bit.
Did we?
But I know you sent me a PM saying, "Oh, we didn't talk about Resident Evil." It was like, yes, it did. I'm not going mental, am I? But then you made me start second guessing myself. I was like, no.
Did I accidentally gaslight you? Oh my gosh.
Possibly.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's not the first time it's happened, don't worry.
Sorry. I thought we spoke about it. Maybe I'm going
speak.
crazy. Maybe it's me who's going crazy.
One of us is going crazy, if not both, or all three of us.
Maybe.
I'm surprised that gaslighting isn't a term for one of the biochemicals that's turns people into zombies. So, yeah. Oh, you've listened to gaslight? No.
I watched it all in one session. It's only 4 episodes, and
yeah, same.
I kind of didn't really think much about it after.
It's 2 hours I'm not getting back.
Yeah, I don't really like trashing on stuff, but just all I have to say is don't watch it. It is Resident Evil, but it's not good Resident Evil.
No, it's literally just a zombie plot, and they just stapled a few characters you recognise to it.
Leon isn't even Leon.
No,
he doesn't even.
They have this problem with the Resi stuff.
Yeah.
Like the main games, I love Resi so much, as I've banged on about before. But when it comes to like the films and media, it's like, they've dropped the ball so hard.
Yeah.
No, just don't bother. If you want a good Resi story, just play the games again. Oh, even then, I don't play them for the story, but goddamn, they're better than that.
Yeah. So I guess moving on, I did play a new game. Well, it came out on the Switch this year, but it has been on Steam. I think it might be either 2020 or 2019. I'm not sure. But I played a game called Islanders Console Edition, and that's part of the Indie World Direct that they had the other day for Nintendo. I don't know if either of you have checked out any of this, the amount of games that they announced, the amount of indie games they announced.
No, it's completely slipped under my radar.
Yes.
Yeah, and I know nothing about Islanders.
I'll tell you about Islanders. It's just a city builder. That's literally all it is. Or you start it up, it has some lovely music, really relaxing, and it just gives you an island, and it just goes, build your island, and you pick from different things, and you just build it. You just build your island. You have like a score, and you like the more stuff you got to like get a better score by putting your different buildings and stuff in different places. And you're just trying to get a big score, but while making a city on an island. That's all it is. It was really fun. I've played it for like a good hour. And I just really relaxing. It's not nothing strenuous. I don't need to really think. I just have nice relax. Have nice fun.
You've got to play something relaxed sometimes. Like I was doing my streaming, and I did the Adult Souls challenge. And when I finished it, I was like, yeah, I need to have a break from streaming for like a week, and then come back and play something nice like Ratchet and Clank, because I'm getting so fucked off. It's fine. I feel like I'm going to start snapping at people. He's like, no, right, quick, put something happy on.
But it's like I said, Islanders Console Edition isn't anything crazy. It was a nice, relaxing game. Doesn't do anything massively different than probably any city builder you've probably played. But I found it really fun and relaxing. Thumbs up from me. But that was, as I said, that was part of the indie world. They announced numerous games. So I'll tell you some of the ones that I thought were interesting. I've pre-ordered one and I've bought another one. So
Do tell.
I pre-ordered one called Eastward, which comes out in September, and it looks a lot like Earthbound in some ways.
Okay.
It seems really interesting. I don't really know much about it other than I watched the trailer and it just seemed had a whole lot going for it. The animation looked incredible. It's got a really colourful art style, and I'm looking forward to playing it when it's out. The other game I bought, which I can play right now as well, is a game called Garden Story, which reminds me of like Link to the Past, where I think you're like building a garden, but it has like the gameplay of A Link to the Past, where you have like a sword and you go around overworld and stuff like that.
So a little bit like Stardew Valley, where you have like dungeons in that, perhaps.
I've not played Stardew Valley. I don't know.
Neither have I, but I know that's some comparisons people have made, like the Zelda one.
Oh, okay. I did not know that. But some of the other ones that I thought were quite interesting was you had a game called Toem, which is like a black and white game where you like take pictures and stuff. Like the art style looks incredible. I think I might buy it and see what it's like. It seems really interesting.
So I'll be taking pictures in a sort of Pokemon Snap way or a Fatal Frame type way, or is it something else entirely?
I don't know. Not in a Pokemon Snap way. I don't know. I'm not really sure. I've not played Fatal Frame either.
Neither have I, but I've always wanted to.
The way you said it sounded like you played it, so I was like, oh.
Well, I know how it works. Like, you defeat ghosts by like taking pictures in first person.
Oh no, this doesn't look like you're battling anything. I mean, it's more just like casually taking pictures and enjoying the world, I think.
Well, you'll have to let us know how that goes. That sounds
interesting.
It's something that isn't another Zelda game.
But another one that really interested me is Metal Slug Tactics.
What? Those three words I
was
like.
Saying that sounds like a rip-off of Metal Gear Solid and a baseball game.
Metal Slug. Yes. Yeah, I'm off to play Metal Slug. See you later.
Bradley, never played Metal Slug?
No, I haven't.
I've got the anthology on PS2. It's so good.
Oh, Metal Slug's really interesting. It's cool.
Play it. It made SNK and Neo Geo's careers.
I used to play it in like arcades all the time.
What even is
so
it?
Fucking good.
Yeah,
it's a side-scrolling shooter like Contra, but it's got a fantastic art style and it's got a sense of humor and it's awesome and it's amazing and for God's sake, play Metal Slug.
It's really cool. So it's the Metal Slug Tactics is basically. It looks like kind of like Advance Wars, but just Metal Slug.
I'm already throwing my hypothetical money at it.
It's released next year though, so it's still a while.
Oh, I shall retain my hypothetical money.
What else seemed interesting? There was a game called Loop Hero where you had to make a map, like a dungeon. And your hero would loop around it and fight enemies. It seemed interesting. I'm not sure if I'm gonna get it or not, but it had an interesting art style, and I don't know. I'll see what happens with that.
It doesn't sound as good as Metal Slug.
No.
And then again, nothing is sounding as good as that. Right?
I think I went from like the ones I was like, oh, and I went Metal Slug, and you're like, you've piqued my interest now.
Yes, I've perked up massively. I was perked up already.
Yeah. I don't know if you played Shovel Knight.
Yes.
They've announced a new Shovel Knight game where it's a little bit like
Shovelly.
It's a little bit like Tetris, but with Shovel Knight. But then even when you're doing the Tetris, you're like beating bosses and stuff like that. I don't know
Right, I
how.
wasn't expecting you to say Tetris after Shovel Knight.
I don't know how it's gonna work, but I've never. I think it might be really interesting. I don't know.
Interesting. I was expecting you to say, "Oh, they're doing a new Shovel Knight game." I was like, "Yep, there goes that hypothetical mini." Yeah.
I think the only other one that caught my attention is Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, which literally looked like Jet Set Radio.
Well, it's a hell of a name.
Yeah, it just had your characters like skating around a city, tagging and stuff like that, and I was like, isn't this a bit like Jet Set Radio, if I remember correctly?
See, I hear a name like Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, and the first image that pops into my head is the just Bomberman, but everyone's got like a 70s afro. And I'm very much down for that.
It seemed interesting. There's like a whole load that were announced, but they were the ones that piqued my interest the most. I could name numerous ones, but they were the ones that like I was like, oh, I might have to buy these. I don't know. Seems like there's a lot of interesting games still coming out this year.
Alright. And I just keep playing the same old ones.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I tend to keep playing the same ones as well.
Yeah, I do find there's like less and less games I'm interested in as time goes on.
I think it's
Or
the same
either
with
that
all
or
those.
yeah. Well, I think it's just because the only game they seem to be making nowadays is battle royales, and that's it.
Yeah, it's
I
just
feel
always
with him.
like even the ones on the PS Plus one this year, well, this month, not this year.
Yeah, it's the battle royale.
It's
Isn't
the
it?
Battle Royale.
Yeah, I didn't even give it a time of day.
Mm.
As soon as you hear those words put together, it's like, oh, no, pass.
Next. No,
Unless you put the words Metal Slug Battle Royale, I might raise an eyebrow.
oh. Even like when they try the Pac-Man Battle Royale on the Switch
Oh yeah,
Right.
and had the Mario one, I don't know how I feel about them.
that was Mario 35, wasn't it?
Yeah, you had Mario 35, you had the Tetris 99, and then you had the Pac-Man one.
Except you can't play Mario 35 now because Nintendo's got a Nintendo.
Yep.
Why? Why they do that? Why don't they release a game that's massively popular and then they say, nah, you know what? We've decided we don't want to make any money.
Money.
So
Demand.
yeah, but it's a dumb demand.
Oh. People still went out and bought 3D All Stars. Like, yeah.
I know, I'm one of them.
Like,
I
there's no
bought it.
tomorrow.
And I was quite happy I got it.
I've got it as well.
Yeah, so
I've hardly played it, to be fair.
I played it once and I said that was good enough for me. I mainly got it for the nostalgia because it's just having to source a reliable Nintendo 64 that is alive, but like you can just get it on the Switch and you know it's gonna stand like the Tales of Time a bit better.
The thing is, I literally replayed Super Mario 64 last year before it got announced.
well, I hadn't and couldn't be asked to find an emulator. Plus, I wanted to play Mario 64 on the toilet, and that's just the height of living.
Yeah. You like get flushed down when you're on the game, just like on the toilet.
Yeah, Chris, you'll flush the toilet and you'll end up in a world looking for stars. You're like, oh no.
Yeah, the last time I did that, didn't go well. I think I found Chocolate Land, but I don't know.
When I went, there's a lot of bob-ombs.
Yeah. The smell will never come off.
Well, they're saying that about not about saying obviously about your chocolate arse, but I was on about the Super Mario Galaxy, like playing Super Mario Galaxy 1 on the Super Mario 3D All Stars. I don't know, I just didn't feel as connected with Super Mario Galaxy as I did the other two. Or was that just me?
No, I didn't either. I know most people say like now, like that's the best Mario one.
What, Galaxy?
Yeah, a lot of people take that stance. Like, you'll find if you go around on the net, a lot
Oh,
of
it
people
did my head
really
in.
highly control.
Mm.
It was a pain to control on the Switch.
It was a pain to control. Like all the perspectives on it, like when it was going upside down, I was just like, oh my god, I'm so lost.
I mean, I did finish it. I got used to controls after a while. But again, it's kind of like Skyward Sword because it's like meant to be used with motion controls, and you're trying to do it on an analog stick. It's
Yeah.
uncomfortable. I think is the best term I could use. You do get used to it after like a few hours, but that's not something you need to have to put up with. Like you should just be able to like, pick it up and play it, not fight with the controls for half an hour and adjust to the crap factor.
I've played a bit of Super Mario Galaxy on the 3D on the Switch, but I'm not. I don't know. I'm not sure whether I should play it motion or just play it handheld.
I'd recommend
I
playing
played
it motions.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it would work better for motion.
That's why I've not really continued. I did start Sunshine, but then I don't know. I kind of wasn't really feeling it, and I just kind of stopped.
Yeah, Sunshine's not as good as 64.
I
like
really,
Odyssey fine, but it's a bit too big.
I really enjoyed Sunshine back in the day. I don't know why I just wasn't really feeling it.
No, it's of the collection. It's the only one of the three I've not finished. I did pick it up and play it and do like the first world, and they just didn't bother picking it up again.
No, I got all the shine sprites on Sunshine. I got all the stars in 64, but I just couldn't bring myself to get all the stars in Galaxy. I tried. I was just like, I just can't be asked.
Yeah,
There's just too much.
I think trying to do that in like portable mode, like I did, will be nigh on impossible. Just for the control scheme, like pinpoint position is not exactly its forte.
I heard a interesting challenge with like 3D All Stars, where you try and get, because there's 120 stars in each game, right? So you could get 3 stars in each game. So you do 3 stars in 64, then Sunshine, then Galaxy, then go back to 64 and get the next 3.
Right.
And it's just an interesting challenge of trying to get all 120 in each game, but breaking it up by doing 3 stars in each game, and then switching to a different one. Sounded interesting, but weird.
The problem with that is you'll be playing 64 and then you go into play Sunshine, and the entire time I'm thinking, "Fuck me! I wish I was playing Mario 64 instead." Well, that and like Sunshine seems to take about 20 years to get started because it's all the cutscene nonsense. It's like, at least go.
You say
There's a little bit of an unskippable bit in like Mario 64, but it's literally just like the tutorial.
Mm. Yeah. Did you ever play the DS version of 64?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I emulated it, but again, it had like touchscreen controls, so it just wasn't going to work.
Yeah, I didn't really know how I felt about it.
Because it's not really.
It just felt like another game.
It's not really a remake.
No.
Because you have Yoshi, Wario, and Luigi, and they have all their separate things.
Yeah, they're trying to do to Mario 64 what they did with like Donkey Kong 64, like this similar kind of thing. Everyone's got their own collectibles, which basically means you just have to play the game like 4 times as long.
Yeah, I remember really enjoying the DS version, but I don't know. It's not it's not per se a remake as like, let's say like the Spyro Reunited Trilogy, whereas that is a remake from the ground up, whereas the DS 64 DS just
it's more of a remaster, right?
A reimagining, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, or like a director's cut, maybe.
Maybe, I don't know. I still enjoyed the DS version, to be fair, but the N64 version is it will always be superior.
Yeah. Definitely. So yeah, Mario 64 is fun, but I want to talk about a series that is quite the polar opposite to Mario 64, and that's just because I've been replaying them. But have you guys ever played the Fallout series?
Yes.
I've played 3 and New Vegas, but saying that, I didn't get very far in it. In terms of how far I got in them, it's probably the equivalent of playing Skyrim and getting up to Whiterun. I think that's as far as I got
Oh,
in the Fallout game.
That's the thing with open worlds that are as like don't hold you by the hand. Like you can literally play them for like 100 hours just wandering around and realize you haven't actually done any progress. You haven't done
Yeah, that's
anything
my
in the
problem
story,
with
like.
Fallout is I literally had no idea where I was going, what I was doing.
I have
Well-
played 3 in New Vegas, and I've completed both of them. And on New Vegas, I've done all 4 endings.
Yeah,
Oh,
I've
bloody
got
hell,
all
there's
the
multiple endings.
yeah.
Oh, fuck me.
I've got all the endings in both of them. But I have replayed New Vegas because I was watching a YouTube channel called Mitten Squad, and he was doing like, oh, can you beat New Vegas doing this using only this weapon? Interesting videos. And that just put me in the mood for it. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna play New Vegas again, and I'm just gonna do it where I go around and kill everyone I bump into and see what happens. And it was fun at first, but it don't half get padded out in like the second half when you get to like the major cities. And it's like, oh, this person came up to me and said hello. Well, I'm sorry, you have to die. You interrupted me. Yeah, I bloody love New Vegas. It's the best one out of the lot for my money.
It's my favourite as well.
Yeah, it's I've played Fallout 3 like again, like immediately after New Vegas, but it's not as good as New Vegas. Like New Vegas, like trimmed some stuff out, like cut a few skills out that you don't need. For example, in 3 you've got like small guns and big guns as like one category, where New Vegas is just guns.
They have an extra one though, don't they?
Yes,
I can't
which
remember
I
what
can't
it
remember
is.
off the top of my head.
But there is another skill that switched out for one of the guns in New Vegas.
I think New Vegas just has more guns per se anyway.
I don't know. What I do like about New Vegas is because I've actually been to like Utah and that. And I really wanted to go to Hoover Dam. When I went to Utah, it was one of the things I really wanted to do, but sadly I couldn't get to go. But I've been to Las Vegas, and I kind of have a really quite connection to like New Vegas and that holiday. Not that I played New Vegas while I was on that holiday, but I think the two quite remind me of both. Like on the DLC, I think is it the first one where you go to Zion. I've actually been to Zion, and it was really cool when I was hiking in Zion, where it'd be like, oh, this looks like this bit. The game definitely has imagined Zion really well. And it was really, really cool going around Zion thinking that.
Oh, that's awesome. It's always nice when a game or just any other series just reminds you of something else that's also awesome.
Obviously, it is a post-apocalyptic version of it in the game, but still.
Yeah, well, nothing makes people happier than the post-apocalyptic wasteland, is it? I may be alone in that, but it makes for a good setting.
I did really like the DLCs from New Vegas. Maybe not the Sierra Morena one. Is it so the casino one? I hate that one, but I really like all the other ones.
Oddly enough, I've done all the DLCs for Fallout 3 and Fallout 4, but I haven't done them for New Vegas. I think what it is Fallout 3 came with like a Game of the Year edition, so we just ended up buying that as well. But New Vegas didn't do anything like that. It's all separate downloads.
No, you're wrong actually on that.
Am I wrong?
Yeah, because
I'm thinking on Lurker 360. I don't remember seeing one.
yeah, because when I got New Vegas on my 18th birthday. When I on my 18th birthday, I was like, "Ha! I'm 18. I'm gonna buy an 18 plus game and show them my ID, and they can't stop me." So I did that, and I bought Fallout New Vegas, and then I played it for an hour, and then I didn't play it for months. And then eventually I was like, I need to actually play this game, so I did, and I got really hooked. But the version I bought had all the DLCs in.
Oh, I am wrong. There is an Ultimate Edition.
Yeah.
Ah, that's what we want to know. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I bought it at launch.
Yeah.
I just don't recall ever seeing one, but I've just looked myself and been proved wrong.
The only problem with the version I had is one of the DLCs was broken on my disc. So it locked me. If I went to a certain area, it would freeze. And to fix it, what I had to do was delete that DLC and buy it off the store. To fix it.
That's how they get you.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to buy that specific DLC again, basically.
Oh, that's a 5-head play from Bethesda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I managed to... But now the game is fine, although I've not played it on my Xbox in years. But yeah, I really enjoy New Vegas.
Well, there's a certain tactic which I think everyone who's played like those Fallout games and Skyrim, there's a certain thing I'm sure everyone does, where you see the objective on your map, there's a vertical mountain between you and that objective, but bollocks are you going around, you're going to hit that jump button.
I'll say that's how I first reached the Greybeards in Skyrim. I was like, that's a very big mountain.
Can't find the path. Sod it. I'm just.
I couldn't find the path, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just launch myself up it as best I can.
Yeah, but that's what I think people lovingly refer to as like Bethesda traversal. You see that mountain, you're gonna climb it, and by climb we mean jump. Hope for the best. Yeah, but yeah, so many people do that. I'll just also say, talking about, I did New Vegas, then I did 3, and now I'm currently replaying 2. Somehow I'm going backwards in time.
I do have 1, 2, and Tactics on Steam, but I've not played them.
You're not. Tactics exists. It's what was between 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And they hadn't quite worked out where to go with it. Turns out they just went in the same direction and did more of the same, but with more stuff. But ultimately, Fallout 2 is superior to Fallout 1. They've just fixed a lot of things. It's a more streamlined experience, but at the same time bigger. My one issue with Fallout 2, if you're familiar with how the game works, is to do things like, say, unlock doors or pickpocket people. It works on like a percentage of success, and you can like critically fail, so you can forever lock a door if you look up like lockpicking per se. And what it basically boils down to is you save in the game, try to lockpick a door, fail, try to lockpick a door, fail, repeat for what seems to be about half an hour until it finally says, "Okay, yeah, you can go through now." Oh god! And it's like the same for everything. So sometimes it's a bit daunting when you come into a new town because you see all these people that you can pickpocket, and you think, "Oh fuck me, I'm gonna be here for like the next hour at least doing the same thing." Pickpocket, save, hey, got it. Move on to the next person, save the game, try and pick.
I'll say that's the same thing for like getting level 100 pickpocket in Skyrim. You're just like, I've really got to save the game because otherwise the guards are going to be after me.
Yeah, it is pretty much that. But as I say, it works on a percentage. I'm sure it's bought. It says like lockpicking success 60%. So why is it taking me like 70 attempts to unlock the fucking thing? Statistically, that's mathematically impossible, surely. How have I got that 70% miss like every time? It's like 60% of the time it works no time.
Oh.
Other than that, I really like it. It's a massive change from like playing Fallout 3 and going backwards.
Yeah.
But for what it is, I really like it.
It's all.
I-
1 and 2 are all top down.
Yeah, I'd say it's obviously far less linear. Obviously, it does have the storyline, same as the others. So storyline wise, yeah, but you are pretty much railroaded to what you can do because it's quite hard to find the half decent equipment fairly early on. The game is very punishing because it's turn based. So you can't like sort of hide and spam a move behind the rock or anything like that. It's like, no, if the enemy spots you, they will just run up to you and murder you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Mm.
I was gonna say, Chris, did you play Fallout in the way where you have to eat and drink to survive?
And the hardcore mode, I
Yeah.
have done that on New Vegas, yes. That's something I wish to put in Fallout 3, by the way.
Yeah.
That's something I wish
really
they put in
like that.
Skyrim.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be honest, I didn't really notice any difference. Because I've already played it before, and like you just have to like eat, sleep, and drink. Well, if you know where the beds are, you're never short of food or drink.
Yeah.
Really, so long as you like keep sticking your nose in them everywhere you pass by, you should never really have an issue with it.
I played hardcore once to get the trophy or achievement, whatever. But then I was like, you know what? I actually prefer playing it with it. It gave the game more weight to your actions and how you play. I just felt like the normal one was just like, oh, there you go, whatever. I felt the hardcore one was really fun because you'd be like, oh, I've got to eat in however at some point. I've got to drink at some point. Otherwise, this is going to happen, and eventually I'll die of thirst or hunger. Oh, now I need to sleep. It gave a bit more of a structure to your life in the game instead of just, I'm just going to walk over here. I killed them. Oh, I'll do this quest. Okay.
Yeah, but it fits the aesthetic of it because
Yeah.
you are trying to survive in the wasteland. So it feels like you have to make more decisions. Like, do I really want to eat an iguana on a stick? Not really, but I'll die if I don't.
Do I want to drink dirty water? Well,
no. Well, now I'm irradiated. I'm not going to die of thirst, but I'm going to die of radiation poisoning. Fantastic. Swings and roundabouts there. I do think that should be like the intended way of playing.
Yeah.
They should have that on by default and give you the option to turn it off rather than the other way around.
Is it on Fallout 4?
I don't remember. I don't think so. I think it's only
New Vegas.
New Vegas this year.
Oh. Just another reason why it's the best one.
Yeah. Well, as I say, Obsidian made that. That's why New Vegas is the best one. That's why 1, 2, and 3 are 1, 2, and New Vegas are better because the original people made it.
Oh right. Well, there you go.
Yeah. And then Bethesda ruined Fallout.
I've not played Fallout 4, so I don't know if Fallout 4 is good or not. I've been
Fallout
told
4
it
is
is.
fine. I was really excited to get it, and I've finished it. And I have finished it several times, to be fair. So I might get the 7 F's. It's fine, but it's not as good. They crowbar a lot of like building mechanics in, and crafting and that, and I'm not a fan of it. I know people are, but I couldn't do with it. If you like that kind of thing, then all the more power to you. But there was one mission where you like have to build like this sort of transporter, and if you didn't know that was coming and you were like ignoring all your crap, and you get to that point in the story, it says, okay, now you need to build all these generators and transports. So therefore, I hope you've been saving up all this junk that you've been carrying for ages, because now you need it. If you hadn't been doing that, you got to that point, you're going to be like, oh, fucking great. So what's my objective now? Just wander around for hours and hours and hours picking up all this crap now, just so I can craft this stuff now. It really brings it to a screeching halt. if you hadn't prepped for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so not so bad on current reruns because you can like find stuff lying around and you just think in the back of my mind, oh, I'll need that later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's fine, but it's not New Vegas. And the less said about 76, that's all I'm going to say about 76 because I don't want to talk about it anymore. The less said the better.
It's a shit show. That's all we need to say.
Nope, and nope again.
We're putting NPCs in the game. Yay!
I would rather than play that. I would rather sit in the capital wastelands with my iguana on a stick and starve to death.
That kind of says it all.
And die of thirst and irradiation poisoning and of lack of sleep. All four.
It kind of says it all when they had to do an announcement that they were adding NPCs into Fallout 76. Like,
you're putting NPCs, playable, non-playable characters in a fucking RPG.
Like,
what madness is this?
What kind of announcement is that? Like, imagine you play Pokemon, and then Nintendo just go,
we're gonna put Pokemon in it.
Yeah, we're gonna put. Wait, no, they actually did that, didn't they? Funny enough.
Oh yeah,
they actually did that. Oh, we're gonna add some more Pokemon into Pokemon because we didn't put every Pokemon in Sword and Shield. Oh wait.
Oh, we forgot. Oh wait, we found some behind the couch, and you can have a. Okay. My favourite thing about 76, apart from everything, like we all know that if you look up a complete history of it, there's so many videos on the internet about it. All the complete history of all the fuck ups. Back to back. But my absolute favourite one is one where these people pre-ordered a special copy and it was meant to come with a canvas bag. And when they got it, they either didn't get the bag or it wasn't the same model. It was like some cheap nylon shit.
Oh.
And I went, what the fuck's this? And the best part's still to come. So, Bethesda, instead of sending them out, after sending out a tweet saying, I'm sorry, we didn't make enough, but then kept sending them out to quote-unquote influencers, but not the people who actually paid for the fucking thing. But that's a different story. After that, what Bethesda did is they gave people, in return for not having a canvas bag, some in-game currency. And this is the best part. The in-game currency they gave you was not enough you to buy for your character a canvas bag in game. That is fucking brilliant and shit at the same time. Can't make
How did
this
they
crap
screw
up.
that up so much?
Oh no! Oh, and then there's the special edition power armor helmet you can buy for several £100, and then they had to record them all because the inside of it was fucking toxic.
What?
So you could get radiation poisoning. So I suppose it is accurate to the games.
Wait, what? Explain that again.
Oh, there's a certain material they use in these power helmet models, and it turns out the interior padding was toxic. You shouldn't breathe it in.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Basically put asbestos in it. But again, it fits with the atmosphere. It's you can put a helmet on, but you'll get radiation poisoning. Yay. Such a shit show. So much wrong with that. Still, we'll never get another game that launches that badly, surely. I can't think of anything else that's going to come close.
I was going to say, is this insert John Cena? Are you sure about that?
Sure. Well, I remember counting down the days, waking up every day is saying, "Oh, today's another day. Bethesda fucked up today. What have they done now?" It was the gift that just keeps taking. Every day they fucked up in some new way. So it wasn't a launch; it was just an ongoing saga.
Here's a question to you then, Chris, and Dan. I think you'll be able to know as well. So obviously you both really like Fallout, but there's another open world shooter based game which I've never played before, and that's Borderlands.
Ooh,
what do you guys think of that? Obviously I've never played Borderlands, so I've not really got an opinion of it.
Both.
The last time I played Borderlands 2 was back at Christmas doing a 24-hour charity stream of it. I fucking love Borderlands.
Both
It's
Chris
so
and I
good.
have played. I think both of us have played all four of them, haven't we? Well, 5 if you want to
Yeah.
count Tales from the Borderlands.
Mm.
Oh, I
Yeah,
don't
I've
know.
played every game.
I love Borderlands, although I've dropped off a bit because of Borderlands 3, but Borderlands 2 is the best one by a mile. It's not even close. Borderlands 2
2 words. Handsome Jack. That's it. Sold.
Borderlands 2 is phenomenal. It's
It really is.
yeah, like I've
The-
played.
Go on.
So I've played it with the Commando and the Siron Maya, who is my favourite character, and I love it. I've got a T-shirt with her on actually, but it's the Borderlands 3 version. I bought that, and then after that was announced, I got to the bit in Borderlands 3 that I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, Chris, without spoilers. But I got to that bit after I bought it, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool, ain't it?" Not,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Borderlands is amazing. Borderlands 2 is the best one by a mile.
Yeah, it is. Like, Borderlands 3, gameplay-wise, it's great. I do really like the gameplay of it, but the story didn't half fumble.
Yeah,
It's like, oh... I didn't mind the villains too much. They
Mm.
kind of got across what they were saying. There was a bit of a twist, but yeah. Hanson Jack's just like near damn impossible to follow.
yeah,
It's like, fuck me. That's why they keep putting him in. Like, to the point, like, certain people are complaining because it's like, yeah, we get it. Hanson Jack's great, but you have to put him in everything. To my answer is yes, put him in more things. He's just basically Bruce Campbell, and that's always a good thing.
yeah. Borderlands 1's good. I guess it hasn't aged as well as it could have, but it's still fun. Borderlands 2's fantastic. Pre-sequel's fun. It still plays very much like Borderlands 2, so gameplay wise, it's
more of the
fun.
same, isn't it?
Yeah, it is basically more of the same. And Tales from the Borderlands is just a Telltale game. I really enjoyed it. I think it's a fantastic story.
Yeah, for what it is, it's like one of the better Telltale games.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd say probably just after Walking Dead. I'd say Walking Dead, then Tales from the Borderlands, and then Wolf Among Us.
Yeah, I would say they're the best three for Telltale. But back to Borderlands, and then you have Borderlands 3 is... personally, I didn't think the gameplay was as good, but maybe that's just my own experience. I didn't think it was bad, but I thought the gameplay of Borderlands 2 was better, but maybe that's just me. But I do agree with the story. The story fumbled, definitely.
I put it this way: I don't actually own Borderlands 3. I was gifted it, and by a mate of mine. And when I finished it, it's like, well, you've got the same console, and you did buy the damn thing. I've played it, I've finished it, so it's only fair you have it now.
Yeah,
I think that's fair. But yeah, Borderlands 2, chef's kiss.
Yep.
Borderlands, I really like, but when you play Borderlands after playing Borderlands 2, it feels like there's so much missing.
Yep.
Like everything feels way more drab.
Yep.
Like the art style is good, but it feels like it's got more greys and browns.
Yep.
As second one just pops more. Not to say it's a bad game at all. It's a really good game, fantastic game. But compared to its successor, yeah, it's like a 7 out of 10 compared to a 10 out of 10.
My only problem with Borderlands 2 is money doesn't matter.
It didn't really matter in the other games either, though.
No, but the thing is, in the other games, there was more of a to upgrade your ammo and stuff like that. You use money. Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel, you don't do them. Don't do it like that. Use like Iridium.
That's Iridium, isn't it?
So money was became redundant, so you just have like millions upon millions. Not that I'm saying that's a bad thing. If you wanted to buy anything, you had the money, but it just meant you basically didn't need money because you would find all the really good weapons through all the raid bosses, but then to get like more ammo and stuff, you just use iridium.
Yeah. Whereas in Borderlands 3, like the Iridium equivalent, that's more tied behind actual in-game paywalls.
Yeah.
Because 2K and Gearbox gotta get that money somehow. Here comes loot boxes. And what better game to put the loot boxes in it? The game that literally has loot boxes in game, but not in a bad way. Like actual just chests. Like they've ruined the term loot boxes. Like, Borderlands was like the original looter shooter. So anytime you hear loot box now, you're like, no. It did have good connotations, and now it's got bad ones.
So if we
Oh,
would
when you-
recommend one for you, Brandon, it is Borderlands 2.
I know. I
Yeah.
think I picked up the Handsome collection because I think that was a PS Plus game last year.
It was. Because if you got that through PS Plus, you got the Fight for Sanctuary for free.
Yeah, that was a nice DLC.
Yeah, I enjoyed
And
that.
it's a weird one as well. It's like a DLC that came out years after the rest, but just before the launch of the third
Yeah.
one. It's just like, wow, you're giving us free DLC like 6 years later.
It's weird because if you wanted to like play the story of like Borderlands, you would play Borderlands 1. That you could play, say, pre-sequel, but also you could also say not because it's set after Borderlands 2. So you play Borderlands 1, Borderlands 2, everything except Fight for Sanctuary. Then you would play pre-sequel, Tales from the Borderlands. Then you play Fight for Sanctuary and then Borderlands 3.
Yeah, that's another thing with Borderlands 3. Like, random people like come up and it's like quest givers, and unless you've played like the spin-off games or the DLC, you won't know who they are. Like Vorm, for example, he's like a major part of Borderlands 3, and if you hadn't played the Telltales game, which has got a completely different studio, make a completely different type of game, you're not going to know who the hell he is.
Yeah.
It's a bit odd.
But you should definitely play Borderlands 2, Brandon. It's good.
Yeah, definitely.
How
I'd
many
say
fucking games?
play 1 first because the storyline does continue. But
Yeah.
I suppose you can go in blind.
I went
The
in
story's
blind.
got way more weight behind it. If you play 1 and 2, way more.
Who
I'll
you-
say this is gonna be a really stupid question, but I've got the Handsome collection.
Yeah,
Which Borderlands game is that, or is that like a compilation of them?
that's Borderlands
It's a
2
collection.
and Borderlands the pre-sequel.
Okay.
You can do what I
Both great
did.
games.
I went in blind into Borderlands 2, and I don't think it mattered.
No, maybe not.
Who's your go-to character, Chris?
My go-to character in which one?
Let's talk. Well, Borderlands 2. Let's put Borderlands 2 because it's our favourite.
I don't know about go-to because I've finished the game with every character.
Well, who's the one that you?
I'll probably go with the one I chose to begin with because I just thought it would look the coolest. So I'll go with Zero. It's the first one I played it as.
Okay, I do like.
You get the
I think I've grown to like Zero over the years. I think when Borderlands 2 came out, everyone was like, "Yeah, Zero's the cool guy. Yeah, Zero," and I was a bit like, I didn't like how popular he was. I think it was that side of me was like, I don't want to be the popular character that everyone just plays because they think he looks cool. Not well, he does look cool, but I wanted to.
I don't seem to remember that. I remember more because oddly enough, Borderlands is one series my dad actually likes playing. My dad doesn't play many games, but he does like Borderlands, which is weird. So when it came out, well, we were like already deciding, like, oh, who's being who? So Dad chose to be the Gunzerker because I was like,
He's
oh
good.
well, yeah.
Be fair,
Even when Borderlands 3 came out, it's like I had to bring him up and say, look, I'm going to start a new game, but I need to know which character do you want to play as because I need to play as a different one to that. So we're not playing as the same character. We've got to choose.
Fair, I like all the characters in Borderlands 2. My favorite is Maya the Siren. I love her. I love her design. I love her abilities. I think they're really, really great.
Oddly enough, the Gunzerker's like the only one that doesn't make an appearance again. I think there's some flavor text about him, like a recording somewhere. But everyone else like makes an appearance like after that. He's just sort of disappeared. Don't know why.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I've not done the DLCs on 3.
I haven't done the DLCs, but he's not in the main story. Everyone else is.
Is Axton? It's been a while.
Yeah, Axton's in it.
Is he?
Yeah, I'm sure he is. I don't think he plays a very big role, but I'm sure he's in it.
I know Gage is in one of the DLCs, and so is Krieg. Well, the last DLC is all about Krieg, because you're inside his mind.
Who were DLC characters in Borderlands 2. So
yeah.
It's only fitting. I think that's fair. Like, that's a good way of doing it. If you're incorporating DLC characters which people may not have played into the main storyline, that can get a little bit confusing. But if you keep like the DLC characters to the other DLC in the next game, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And silence.
I think
I was about to say, Dan, I've just sent something into the anime group chat.
Okay, what have you sent?
I find some of the strangest pictures sometimes.
What? What is this? What?
Actually, on the topic of weird stuff, I need to mention something that we did last week. So after the recording of the last podcast episode, I went onto Steam, and I was just quite happily just browsing through just to see what was on there. And what came up on my recommendation is a game called Hentai Femdom Simulator.
I didn't realise you're actually mentioning this.
Oh
my gosh. Are we actually going to mention this?
I'm only going to do this very briefly, just for the last topic.
No, I think that me and Dan elaborated on Borderlands, so it's only fair you should elaborate on the Hentai Femdom Simulator.
I haven't. I don't know why this came up on my recommendation.
Oh my god!
I sent the clip. Well, I sent the Steam link, into our Discord chat, and it was a very, very cursed video. Is all I can say. So it was just so cursed. Like I don't know how to explain it, Chris. You saw it as well. Like, what do you remember from the video?
I try not to remember, is my takeaway from it. I will agree with you. It is cursed, and it is a thing that exists for some reason.
I'll say the last thing I remember is a guy on all fours with a girl on his back, and he was just like zooming across.
Oh my god!
I get the feeling we're going to have to be quick on the beep and censor button.
Yeah, but I was just going to say, if anyone wants to laugh, go check it out on Steam. It is so cursed.
Yes, if you want a sleepless night tonight, it's all yours. I was about to say, like, well, if we were talking about our mains in Borderlands, who's your main in the Hentai Fandoms?
Oh god.
Cthulhu, I'm joking.
Cthulhu. If Cthulhu's in it, I might buy it.
I don't even know what's in there. I know, based on what I can see from I'm looking at the thumbnail again, for God's sake, what they've done. And it literally looks like you unlock.
I'm going to name this
characters.
episode Brandon Mentions the Cursed Game. Everyone's going to get like up to this point and be like, oh no, that's the cursed game, right? I see.
It's just the fact that the description for the game is, in order to survive, you have to try not to get seduced, manage your resources, and win in erotic battles, and you have to pay rent. Like, what sort of a description?
Oh my gosh.
It's a simulation game, a survival open world simulator, where the aim is to not get seduced. It's weird.
And on this week's episode, Chris and Dan talk about Borderlands while Brandon looks at porn.
Oh my god.
And then talks about Jungle Cruise.
Nothing else matters now.
I was just saying. I just thought I had to mention it just because it was just one. It's just one of the most random things which I stumbled across on my internet adventures.
Is it because the goose is loose?
I think on that that bombshell of a nothing else matters joke, we should probably wrap up today. What do you reckon, guys?
Probably.
I'm gonna go surfing the internet for more cursed games.
Oh dear. I'm gonna play some more indie games this week. Hopefully, I don't know.
My mouse curse has been hovering above the Fallout 2 icon this entire.
I've got to like sort loads of Warhammer tomorrow night. 'Cause I was like, oh, I'm recording this tonight, and then I'm like, I need to build this model, and I need to magnetize all these weapons, and I don't know if I have enough time for Wednesday.
All right.
Yeah.
So is that like Warhammer Wednesdays?
Yeah, on Wednesdays I always play Warhammer.
I've never done that.
Well, I've not played it for the last 3 weeks because I wanted a break, and then I wanted another break, and then I made a stupid decision last week, and I can never take that back. But oh well.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Well, thanks for listening, like always. We really appreciate it. We've actually been having even more listens recently, which is bizarre. Cause I normally check it Anchor every week, and for about every day, and for like over a week straight, we were just getting like loads of listens. It was really weird. So thank you.
Fantastic. Excellent. Thanks,
Thank you,
guys.
everyone.
You all win at life, unless you're looking at Curse Fendom Simulator.
You're going to give me a bad reputation.
It can't be any worse than mine.
You have Monster Girls manga,
Wait, I've got 12 of those. I need to finish them all.
and you have Rent a Girlfriend, and you have
I've got 7 of those.
and you have Miss Nagatoro.
I've got 7 of those as well.
I'm just making sure you said finish it off and not finish yourself off.
Isn't it both, Brandon?
That's the question for our listeners. Isn't it both for Brandon?
I'm trying to stifle my laughter.
Thanks, guys, for listening. We really appreciate it.
Oh my god.
We love you all.
Thank you for listening to Victory Achieved. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, fucking hell.
What a